you're the unit historian for the Second Ranger Battalion. I knew nothing about that until I did my research before this interview. I didn't get to see the Memorial Day concert, the one that PBS puts on every year. By the way, that's a huge concert every year on the National Mall. Super patriotic. Joe Montana, Gary Sinise, I think they've been the host for at least the past couple years. It had to have been neat to see that the Second Ranger Company be featured in that way in a
And
little video feature
what was
during the broadcast.
surprising is most years it is hundreds of thousands of people there.
Yeah,
It wasn't that many in the audience because of COVID, and so
yeah,
everything was up close and personal. You know, uh, I'm watching Jerome Colin Powell walk up, and I'm like, oh, he's bigger than life. Yeah. So
yeah.
yeah, that was an honor. That was a great honor. And
So, so for those that don't know, the Second Ranger Company is an all-black Ranger company from
right.
Korea. From
So
Korea.
right
For those that didn't see it, what's the story of the Second Ranger Company?
at the beginning of the Korean War, the Koreans were using guerrilla warfare tactics. Uh, um, the Eighth Army uh, went ahead and did sort of an experiment with doing Rangers from the Second World War. It was, they were kind of behind the line guys. In the interim, they started 4 companies: first, second,
Okay.
third, and fourth. Airborne. These were the first airborne Rangers. Eighth,
Okay.
Eighth Army's Rangers were not airborne. So,
Okay.
and for those who don't know, Colonel uh, Ralph Pluckett just got the Medal of Honor, and he
Yes.
was the leader of that. Uh,
Okay.
and but anyway, so for some reason they wanted a black company. No one could ever explain to me why there was a black company. But so they
No,
initially
nobody's ever explained that. That's interesting.
yeah, and I've asked. That was the number one. I know why they had black paratroopers, but I don't know why they had black rangers. And it was the
Okay.
last company formed, and then they was like, no, we're gonna not let you be fourth company. You're gonna be second company, and they switched. And
Interesting.
second and fourth company are very close still to this day. There's very few of them left, but they're
Yeah.
close to this day. So the first airborne ranger companies were split up after training and sent to Korea. So first company uh, was attached to. I'm not even going to get into it. I'm not gonna lie. I know second company went to 7th Infantry Division, and fourth company went to 1st Cavalry Division. Uh,
Okay.
uh,
So what did they do in Korea?
oh, they weren't used like they were supposed to use, for their intent and purposes. But what Second Ranger Company went into combat 7 days after arriving in Korea. They got their first
Okay.
loss. Their second battle was a week later, which was their biggest loss. 8 Rangers killed, 10 wounded. Uh, they're most famously known for the jump at Mont Saint-Denis on the 23rd of March, 1951. Second and fourth Ranger companies were the first Ranger combat jump in history. They made the first Ranger combat jump in history. Um,
Wow.
and it is uh, that this is how Rangers do business today. So they also a famous battle was the Battle of Hill 581. Um, there were less than 60 Rangers that were together. Everybody else was on R&R in Japan, and Captain Jim Ranger Queen, which is the executive officer,
Yeah.
uh, rallied the men. They ran to the hill, fixed bayonets, chased these were these were not North Koreans, these were Chinese soldiers
Chinese.
off a hill,
Yeah.
and they had a ensuing battle. The Rangers started running out of ammo. They went back down into the valley, dug up some more ammo that they had placed there a couple of weeks before, went back up the hill, chased the Chinese off the hill again. When they ran out of ammo the second time, the XO told everybody to dig in or hunker in, and he called artillery on their position. Uh, and during the
Wow.
whole fray, they only lost one person.
Wow.
So yeah, and
Two
then
bayonet charges, calling in artillery on their position.
yeah,
One person lost.
one person lost.
Interesting. Wow. So again, I didn't get to see that video on Memorial Day, but in preparation for this interview, I went to the PBS website for the National Memorial Day concert series, and I watched the 3.5 minute video hey, I saw you in there, did a good job explaining it.
Thank you.
That talked about the Second Ranger Company. As you know, just like the footage from there's a lot of famous footage from the Marine Corps battle at the Chosin Reservoir. I was floored by the imagery that the combat photographers and videographers took of the Second Ranger Company. If it was of the Second Ranger Company, that image of the black hands coming out of the snow, obviously from a dead, frozen American soldier, just wow. Do you know where they sourced that footage? Where that footage came from?
That particular footage, I do not know. No, I know which one you're talking
Wow.
about, but
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff in that um, patches and
Video.
stuff like that belong to me. They filmed it.
Really?
Yes, yeah. I have the
So
largest
most of it's
collection.
yours, but wow,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
I was wondering, yeah, and then obviously it must be from the National Records or something. I don't know where. I'd like to talk to the production company that made that, because that some of that imagery I had never seen from the Korean War, and I've gone as a video producer for the Marine Corps. I've gone through a lot of Korean War footage, and a lot from the Pusan Perimeter, a lot from the Chosin Reservoir. There's some imagery in that video that I've never seen, and it was pretty incredible. Um, Second Ranger Battalion, or Second Ranger Company. For the past couple decades or so, you're starting to see military stories like this come to life, come to light. Tuskegee, Buffalo Soldiers, Triple Nickel, Montford Point Marines
Well,
is famous in Marine Corps history.
yeah.
The Hellfighters from World War
You know, I have
One.
an actual Mumford Point Marine uniform.
Oh, do you?
Yes, that's part of my section is in African American military history. So, like most
Have
of the
you
units you're talking about, I have uniforms for.
Wow. Have you contacted all the museums? You got the Marine Corps Museum, you got the new Army Museum here.
No, let me
Are
tell
you
you.
in close relationship?
Let me explain something. I tell places that I will bring it to you and set it up for you, at no charge. A lot of them want to own your stuff, uh,
Mm,
so I don't. Uh,
yeah. No, this
because
is the personal
a
collection.
family's entrusted this to me. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like the Mumford Point Marine, I didn't get it from his family. I had it from a guy who had it in his collection, and he didn't know what it was. And he was like, "I got a
Wow.
Black Marine from Pearl Harbor." I'm like, "What? No Black Marines in Pearl Harbor?" But then, he said that because the plaque, the guy was stationed in Pearl Harbor at one time, and after
Wow.
the event. But I bought everything. I bought his graduation picture, everything, his uniform, everything, and that was a catalyst for getting me to. If I can't, if I don't know anybody in it, then I will study the uniforms and put it together. So for the Navy, you have the Golden 13, the USS Mason. The Golden 13s were the first black officers in the Navy,
Okay.
officers and warrant officers. The USS
Wow.
Mason was a sub chaser, all black sub chaser. Uh, you know, the 320th Balloon Barrage Battalion. They were blacks that went on day one in D-Day. They were on the ground. They went ashore. The only blacks to go ashore as a unit. Um, uh,
Wow.
and I can tell by the way you're moving, like what?
Yeah, no, I mean, and that was my question. You had the 688, all black, female women postal service out in World War
My
II.
wife's aunt was in the 688.
Really?
Yes, yes.
That's outstanding. Well,
I have her
that's gonna
uniform.
be that is a interview in the archive. So if you're listening right now, that's a really good episode. Fanny she's over 100 years old and was able to come on the podcast and tell about the 688. So if you get a chance, take a listen to that.
One thing I like
So
to
like
say.
yeah, so like the whole reason my question was like, what stories have not been told yet?
Well, I was like, for instance,
And
you were
and
talking
you're
about
you're
six
already
triple
going
eight.
there.
I love that story because when those women got to England, they had to guard themselves, and the Americans would not give them weapons. So the British commandos taught them jujitsu, and which is wild
Interesting.
because my sons didn't know that, and they all do jujitsu.
Interesting. Yeah, Fanny didn't bring that up. She
Yeah,
didn't bring that part
yeah.
up.
Well,
Um,
my wife's aunt was actually an MP assigned to them. She was rare, another rarity. She
yeah,
was trained as an MP, and then she was assigned to the 6AA.
interesting.
761st is another unit. Red Ball Express, uh, that's another uh, not talked about often. Those guys were on the road 24 hours a day, getting supplies to the units as they moved out from D-Day. Um,
Yeah.
there's just so much. You had Second Cavalry Division. People heard of First Cavalry Division, but Second Cavalry Division they hadn't heard of. Uh, and that was taken to Africa and disbanded. But those units were used to build the facilities for um, the Tuskegee Airmen when they got
Okay.
to, yeah. So I mean, there's a
Okay.
lot of things. You had the 93rd that fought in World War II. I mean, they were known for World War One, but they in World War II they were all black unit division in the Pacific Theater, and they were known for capturing the highest ranking Japanese officer prior to dropping the bombs
Wow.
on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. So I'm just
So
saying.
a lot of history.
There
A
is,
lot
and
of
it's just
history.
not
Yeah.
told.
We gotta get 'em one way or the other. Machine gun, firefight, bullets fly.